come to the right place for examining the truth behind trending stories and claims. Today, we're focusing on a viral claim that circulated on X, suggesting a major highway in South Africa was up in flames during a protest by youth demanding permanent employment after a South African mayor's controversial proposal to hire foreigners. The post has been viewed over 8,200 times, but as always, there's more to the story. Let's unveil the truth on The Proof, powered by Africa Check. I'm your host, Darshan Usman. Stay with us. To help us unpack the truth on today's episode, Kirsten Kossa, Africa Check's researcher, joins me now. Kirsten, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Darshan. Happy to be here.
Now let's start with the claim itself. The post on X showed photos of tires burning on a highway with onlookers in the background. It suggested that young people were protesting over jobs, accusing the government of reserving employment opportunities for foreigners. What did your investigation reveal about this claim?
So we found that the post is misleading in several ways. First and foremost, while there was a protest on that day, the photos shared on X are years old and unrelated to that event. And the images have appeared in, various news articles as far back as 2015.
So the related photos are unrelated to the event. But what about the nature of the protest itself? The Post claimed that the protesters were angry about jobs being reserved for foreigners. Is that accurate?
No, so the protest on the 29th of August was organized by the Gauteng Youth Brigade, which is a group that had previously worked as teaching assistants in a government employment initiative. And they were protesting because their contracts were not being renewed and they were demanding permanent employment. But this protest wasn't about foreigners. Any connection between their demands and the employment of migrants was fabricated in the ex-post.
That's an interesting distinction. It seems the Post conflates two separate issues. Where did the idea of the protest being about employment of foreign nationals come from?
Well, the latest Johannesburg mayor, Dada Morero, made a controversial statement a few days before this, on the 25th, suggesting that recruiting qualified, documented foreign nationals for the police force could help overcome language barriers when dealing with crimes involving non-South African nationals. And this sparked public outcry, particularly in a country like South Africa, where there's long-standing tensions around issues of migration and employment. Residents did march to Morero's office on the 28th, but this, by all accounts, didn't involve any sort of destructive acts like burning tires.
Thank you for clarifying that, Kirsten. Now let's pause for a break here. When we come back, you'll take us into how Africa Check verified the pictures used to create a misleading narrative on X. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is The Proof, powered by Africa Check. Today, we're looking at a post on X that tried to create a narrative around a protest by young South Africans over employment and pictures of burning tires to inflame tensions in the country. Kirsten Kossa, a researcher with Africa Check, has provided clarity on the claim. Now, Kirsten, there was a public backlash to Mayor Dada Morero's comments, but it wasn't connected to the protest on the 29th. How did Africa Check verify that the pictures of the burning tires were unrelated to these events?
We conducted a reverse image search of the photos that were used in the X-post, and that showed that those images had actually been published in articles dating back several years, well before the events of August. And one newspaper did report that the teaching assistants protest involved setting tires alight, but the images circulating on social media about that are not from this event either.
That's a critical piece of information. Now, the viral post seems to use old images to stir up emotions about current events. What could the consequences of falsely stringing together the protest, the pictures of burning tires, and the mayor's comments in a country like South Africa be?
Well, in South Africa, with those tensions that I mentioned and extremely high levels of unemployment, these narratives around foreign workers competing for jobs with South Africans can obviously help stoke this anger and fear.
Why do people post misleading information like this? What do you think can be done to stop the spread of misinformation?
So false information, particularly around contentious issues like migration, can spread rapidly because it's tapping into these existing public frustrations, right? So social media users often post this type of misleading content because it's something that might usually get a lot of attention because of that emotional content, or someone might be trying to inflame tensions around these issues even more. So to stop these things from spreading, it's really crucial for people to verify information before sharing it. And this can be done through simple steps like checking trusted news sites or conducting a reverse image search like we did here.
Very true. And it's also important to keep in mind the role that fact-checking organizations like Africa Check play in ensuring that the truth is accessible to the public. Speaking of which, what other steps can viewers take to avoid falling into a trap of misinformation, especially in high-tension situations like this?
Well, I do want to reiterate that one of the most important steps is to just pause before sharing any content, especially if it's sensational or plays on your existing biases. Always question the source of information, right? If the post is anonymous or from an unreliable account, it's more likely to be misleading. Fact-checking organizations like Africa Check and others are also great resources. We publish regular updates on claims that are trending online and always provide evidence for what we find. And then another useful tip is to look at the context of the images or videos that you're looking at. If a post doesn't have details or it seems vague, that's a red flag that it might be misleading.
Those are excellent points. Thank you, Kirsten, for providing clarity on the issue and helping us separate fact from fiction.
Thank you, Dashan. It's always a pleasure.
And thank you to our viewers for tuning in to The Proof. If you have comments or claims you want us to fact check, tweet at AfricaCheck_NG. Follow News Central on our social media platforms at News Central TV. You can also visit our website. It's www.newscentral.africa. Stay informed and stay alert until next time. I'm Darshan Usman, signing out.